Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing the main card of UFC 184 right now. We are talking with Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsBreaker.com. Nick Kalikas, of course, an MMA odds maker and a consultant for numerous high-profile sports books. And our call-in guest, also from MMAOddsBreaker.com, is MMA analyst Brian Heminger. All right, Richard Walsh and Alan Jouban. Jouban minus 400 right now. Walsh plus 310 on the other side. These are current lines at 5 dimes. Both these fighters coming off of fights where they lost, but people thought they got robbed to varying degrees. I think it's clear that Jouban should be a significant favorite here. The question is minus 400 maybe a little bit too much? I don't know. What do you think, Brian Heminger?
I think it's fair, actually. Jouban looked really, really good in his last fight, even though he got the loss. I feel like everybody kind of knows that he lost a controversial decision. He should have won that fight against Warlley Alves. It was in Brazil, and he looked really, really good. I mean, his striking was on point. His defense was better. His chin was better. Everything was really, really sharp. And I just think overall he's just a much more well-rounded, dangerous fighter than Richard Walsh. He should have advantages here in striking and speed. He should probably be the better fighter in all open space situations, and even in the clinch, he probably should be able to land some good elbows and short strikes as well. I mean, maybe Richard Walsh is a little stronger and could hold him down in the ground, and Walsh has some power, but overall, Alan Jouban is the much more well-rounded, dangerous fighter. So I completely understand why he's a big favorite here.
All right, so he'd have to have an 80% chance or greater, an 80% chance of winning or greater to justify a bet at minus 400. You think that he does?
I do. Richard Walsh, veteran of the Ultimate Fighter Nations out of Australia, he just doesn't quite have that same skill set. And overall, I just don't think he's that talented of a fighter. He's definitely a bottom-tier UFC welterweight, and he did look good in his last fight. He landed a nice shot against Kichi Kunamoto, but it wasn't enough to make me think that he has a really good chance against Alan Jouban, because Jouban has fought some much more dangerous fighters already in his 2-fight UFC career, and he's looked much better than Walsh has. So
Nick Kalikas, right now, Jouban minus 400. Do you think that's an appropriate line? Where'd you open this line?
I'll put it minus 385. So, yeah, I do think it's appropriate, honestly. He deserves to be a solid favorite, just skill set for skill set. I mean, Jouban, like you guys mentioned, he did get robbed in his last fight against Alves. I thought he should have won that. Most of us did too. And Alves, of course, was a very well-hyped prospect entering that fight, and he was, a solid favorite for a reason. That's how tough that fight was for him. So Jouban is one of those guys that continues to improve his game. Of course, he's got good striking, but his wrestling and takedown defense is getting better as well. And I think he's going to have several advantages in this fight. Walsh's best chance is maybe he does have some power. He is a grinder, maybe trying to push him up against the fence, make it a boring, ugly type of fight, and trying to land something heavy. Because Jouban, that's one thing about him, though. He does at times have a tendency, his defense is a little sketchy, and he does get clipped with stuff, and Walsh has enough power. So there is some concerns in the power department and Walsh's grinding style. But other than that, I think Jouban, he showed enough to keep the fight upright in most cases. I don't think Walsh is going to be able to probably control him on the ground. And if that's the case, if it's standing, I mean, there's no question that Jouban has that much better skill set on the feet for sure. So he should be more effective. I think he has a good chance to finish Walsh in this spot as well. But if not, he should at least outpoint him for decision. So I don't think it's a dog or pass situation here. I honestly think it's still around 4-1-ish. It's a favorite or pass. I'm sure we're going to see some people going to be putting Jouban into parlays as well. So we might see that line climb up to even 5-1 or so. And not too much time from now. So I think we'll continue to see it escalate. Then it's a stay away from point, but there might be some value around 4-1.
All right, so has this fight not gotten that much betting volume? Why do you think the line hasn't gotten bet up by the public then?
Well, it hasn't got a tremendous amount of action. I think people think that the line's fairly decent, set right, and they're not going crazy, and they don't think there's tremendous value one way or the other. But I'm sure we will. Like I said, a lot of people are going to be looking for a guy to throw in a parlay, guarantee. And one of those guys to throw in a parlay is going to be Jouban this weekend. So we're going to see some love on him for sure. And that I mean, we've seen some crazy movement. I mean, just this past weekend, Alcantara got bet up from a 3-1 favorite to about a 10-1 favorite. So that's ridiculous. And we're continuing to see some trends like that. The high favorites, the 4 or 5-1 favorites, are closing around 900, 1,000 at times. So So, and that's a lot of heavy parlay action coming in as well on a lot of those cases. So Jouban could be one of those guys this weekend that people really target as a parlay key, and we could see that craziness take place here as well.
So you think this might close significally higher then? You don't think it's going to close?
I don't think it's going to close 900. I mean, if that's the case, then obviously there's going to be some value on Walsh. I think that's, you know, that would be out. But I do think it has a chance to close maybe around 6-1 or so, yeah.
All right, thanks for your thoughts, guys. Maybe Jouban right now at -400 has some value. Maybe there'll be hedge value come fight night. Thanks so much, guys.